One day I'm gonna have a cool intro to start these videos, but hey, it's gonna come. Um, Before I quit my three jobs in Japan and made 10K, 10,000 USD online in high ticket sales, I was making about roughly 240,000 yen a month, and that's from all three of these jobs together, right? 240K a month in Japan. And, you know, I'd say that, I'd say like a few years ago, and when I say a few years, let's say like around 20, 2019, 2018, 2019. If you're making 240,000 yen per month and you're living in somewhere like Tokyo, that's pretty average, right? It's pretty like, you know, average, maybe a little bit on the lower side, like below average. If you're making this much money and you're working and you're living in like, a much more cheaper area like in Kyushu, Okinawa, then this is pretty comfortable. Like this is comfortable, right? I think the most basic level that you can get paid in Japan, like legally, if you are here on a work visa, is like 180K. Like that's how much you need to make so that you can be sponsored a visa. I'm not talking about people who are on work visas. Okay, so if you are on a work visa or you're a student, just click off because it's not for you. Um, Mainly just speaking to people who are on the long term residencies in Japan. Um, so if you're making 240K yen in Kyushu area, it's like it's like pretty good. Like it's not bad. It's pretty comfortable. You can live comfortably. Now, mind you, I'm talking about before, like around 200, like 200, 2018 to like 2019. This time, um, making this much money, yeah, it's pretty comfortable. But now that we're in 2025, if you're making 240K yen a month, then this is the new average, even in Kyushu. If you're making this much money and you're living in like Tokyo, bro, I know you doing some other side hustle. You doing some other, shady shit, whatever. Um, I'm not trying to knock the hustle. You get your money, right? It's serious out here. So if you're making 240K and you're living in Kyushu, if you're living in just anywhere in Japan, right? Generally speaking, yes, this is like the new average. Okay. If you're making this much money, 240K, and you have a family, you're in trouble. You are in trouble, and it does not matter if your partner is also, if you have a partner who's also making money too, who's also working, like, and you got a family, 240K yen, you're in trouble. And I do mean that, like, you know, if we're just speaking as a matter of fact, because we know how unstable the economy is. We know how unstable the country is and how the yen has been affected over the years. And it's not looking like it's getting any better. Um, it's a really, really, shaky place to be in if we're talking about the finances. Um, if you're making 240K yen and you're single and you're on a long-term visa, if our like you have to really just focus and not get comfortable because that's the difference between I guess people who have families and people who are single. If you're making this like much money in Japan, um, you know, I know that people who have families and have kids and a lot of responsibilities, they are going to move with a sense of urgency to really look for opportunities and really, you know, try to get out of the situation, because everybody's in a, pretty unsteady situation if we look at the facts. If you're single and you're making this much money, 240K, first of all, we're really average, okay, really basic. Um and also, you're gonna get, your comfort is really going to keep you stuck because you're not moving with a sense of urgency. And it's much more dangerous to be in this position than if there's people who have families, who have kids, and, are married. Because when you're just on your own and you think like you're good, this is the most dangerous place to be in. Because I've seen this happen so many fucking times, where the comfort and the illusion of time, thinking that you have time, that's going to be the biggest mistake. So, the message for everybody out there is to always just be on your toes. Okay? Because when I was making 240K a month last year, like, it was a struggle. Okay? Because we know that it's not, um, like when we say like before in 2018, 2019, like this was comfortable, like not bad, like it's pretty like above average to be making this much money. But now in 2025, when that bar goes up and higher, because the pay is not changing, but the prices, the costs of living are increasing. We see, like, go check out the prices of rice these days. Look at how the prices of rice is going crazy now in Japan. Like, I used to buy like 30 kilos of rice for like 8,000 yen for 30 kgs, like 8,000 yen. Now it's like 15,000 yen, right? And I'm getting a pretty good deal from like this local farmer. But, look at the prices of everything else besides the rice. Food is a big one. We obviously know food is a big one. Eating out is a big one, right? Um, a lot of things. Gas, man. Look at the prices going up, and our pay not making any changes. That is a very critical indicator to look at. Okay, so I saw that from years ago, and I had to get the hell out of there because it just wasn't it. And you know, a lot of things, when we're in this time, okay, when we're in this period of time, everything feels kind of risky, right? Because the financial situation that everybody is experiencing in Japan, you want to really hold tight to your money and start to budget your time better, budget your expenses and your lifestyle. Everything just gets into a smaller box. And when that happens, right, people tend to be a lot more risk avert. You don't want to take much risks. But I'll tell you is that the biggest risk right now is not trying. The biggest risk that anybody can take is staying in the same position that they're at. Okay? We're going to go over a few of these things. Like, when we talk about risking time to live a quality life, right? Um, because right now, most people, after they're like, if they're working their jobs in Japan, you're definitely, you know, early 20s upwards. Early 20s upwards. You just finished your university, and you're working in your job. Um, Especially people who are between the ages of 20 and 40. Okay? This window is when we human beings, especially if you are a man, if you are a male and a guy, this is when we are at our prime, like when we are at our most vital. Our body, our physique, our mind, like this is us being in our prime. So when we're spending more and more time working in these jobs that the pay and the economy is still stagnant, if not going backwards, like it's just dropping, right? And we're still working because the thing is that when it comes to the money, money is always going to be the currency. This is going to be the currency of life. If you have money, you have time, right? You don't have to work. You don't have to spend time if you have money. If you have that money, you have your time. If you have your time, you can put it into yourself to be at your prime, have more experiences, and you don't have to go to work and really just spend more time developing yourself, working out, exercising, living life. You don't have to do the whole like actual, you know, health is wealth kind of thing. You can just have that time to just go travel and do shit and live your life because that's what it's about, to enjoy the time when you're at your prime. Like, come on, guys, let's be real, man. Fuck being old and enjoying life. Like the whole retirement thing, and 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 just being retired just so you can go and finally do those things that you want to do. Like, why not have that luxury to do that now? Like when we are able bodied to do so, because that's the real flex, is to like have the energy and go do the things that you want to do. So time to spend a quality of life, that is a big one that you are risking if you don't take action and do something about your situation now. That's a big risk, and it's more riskier than not doing anything and just trying to stay cautious. Second thing is, and this goes for people who have kids. If you have kids in Japan, um, you're risking, obviously, the time that you can spend actually raising your kids, actually being with your kids and communicating with them, building that connection. Because if you're working your job, right, and if you're a foreigner, which I'm sure that most people who are, kind of interested in what's going on from my message, because I'm a foreigner, and if you're a foreigner and if you got kids in Japan, um, I'll tell you something that I started to notice with foreigners who have kids in Japan, and it actually doesn't really matter, or maybe a little bit, if your partner is also a foreigner and you have a full foreign kid in Japan, and then you have a Japanese spouse, Japanese husband, Japanese wife, and then your kid is half Japanese, half, um, international. But I'll tell you this, is that if you're a foreigner and you've got kids in Japan, one of the things I noticed to be kind of like an issue, as I notice like my friends who have kids in Japan, foreign kids, have kids, and they, especially the ones that don't speak Japanese or don't speak it that well, your kid, right? If they're half Japanese or if they're full full-fledged foreigner going to Japanese schools, you can pretty much just guarantee that the system and the society and the nature and the environment and the culture of Japan is going to have way more influence on your kid than you yourself. Okay? And I know that a lot of people already know this, but if you really like start to compound things, okay, you're risking your time not being there, spending time with your kids and speaking with them your language, whatever language that is, if it's English, if it's Indonesian, Spanish, Vietnamese, whatever, right? Um, if you're not spending that time with your kids to speak that language and connecting with them, and you yourself are not that great in Japanese, slowly but surely that relationship is really going to start to, start to take a hit, right? If can you imagine if you are a foreigner yourself, your partner, your spouse is also a foreigner, and you both have some kids that go to Japanese schools, those kids are Japanese. If you don't have time to really just spend time with your kids and build those connections, for them to have a sense of identity as well, and speak the language that you want to connect with them with, without that time, without that communication, those kids are going to just get wrapped up in the society, in the culture, which is not bad, right? You just have to understand what's going on, because I've seen this happen time and time and time and time again with, like, literally a lot of foreigners that I know who have kids in Japan, is that relationship with their kids, it's like you just raise another human being, but you're not raising a daughter. You're not raising your son. You're just raising another human under your roof. And yeah, they're gonna, listen to you as a you know as a guardian and parental figure, but that relationship is gonna, you know get impacted. And I mean, that it's really up to you, if you value, family time, if you value having that connection with your kid, right? Because I've seen this happen a lot. What you really want to do, and it goes back to what we're talking about when it comes to risk, it's more riskier not doing something about this situation than to just continue what you've been doing, because you're just going to get more of the same. Okay? So we need to have the money so that we can have the time, so that we can do shit and live life. Okay? It's always going to go in this same loop. And the third important thing that you are risking, that is on the line when you are not taking action, is you're risking your own security. Because, and it is the most responsible thing to do, right? The first thing is having that problem awareness. We have to understand the times that we're living in right now. And I'm not trying to, make you feel scared, because Google it. Just go look outside. Go to the supermarket. Look at the prices of everything, right? I'm not making this shit up. You gotta see the circumstances for what it is, right? I'm talking about the economy and the financial situation that we're all in. Look at your paycheck and tell me if that's changed. Tell me if you've got a raise from your job. If your money has changed at all, just look at those numbers, right? The third and most important thing, and probably should have been number one, is risking your own security. Because um, the first thing you should definitely do is have that problem awareness. Like, okay, this is a fact. Okay, my money has been the same. Like, my money has been, when I was working those three jobs, making the same amount of money every single month, and nothing out externally is changing, right? Um, First thing is having that problem awareness. Second thing is taking action, which starts with research. Okay? Research and look for ways, find out how you can get out of this situation, and have increase your earning potential. Okay? Find the right vehicle, find opportunities where you can really make better money, but also, okay, it's not enough to just have the money, but also have your life set up where you can use that money and spend the time for yourself, right? And then take action. You gotta just look at everything, research, plan it out properly, and just fucking go. Like take action and do what must be done. Do what must be done. So what I did, right? When I was looking for ways on how to get, you know, um, for me it was three things. I wanted to have financial independence. I wanted to not stress over money. I didn't care about being balling out rich. I didn't care about being Elon Musk level billionaire. That wasn't my goal. I wanted to be financially independent where, I can still live my normal life. If I go out to the supermarket, if I go out to a restaurant, if I want to travel, I can do that. I got the money to cover it, right? Um, Financial independence, number one. Number two is having the time freedom. I wanted to have more time to live my life the way I want to live it. I want to wake up at this time, I want to sleep at this time, I want to do work at this time, and I want to relax on this time. I'm going all around my own schedule. I wanted that time freedom. Thirdly is I wanted to have location freedom, right? Where I don't necessarily need to go to no office to work. I can work from home, which you see right now. I'm just relaxing in my own comfort zone in my home. If I want to go and travel and I'm out in a hotel, Airbnb, or guest house, wherever, I can work that time that way as well, right? I can still make some money while I'm on a vacation. If I want to go back to my own country, and I can still work that time too, right? I wanted to have location freedom. Okay, that's the third pillar for me. So once I had that problem awareness, I knew what my situation was, and I knew what I wanted for my life in exchange, because my three jobs working in Japan, they were not going to give me any of those things. I had to go find it on my own. And I knew that whatever I was going to do, it was going to revolve around doing something online, right? So I went looking all over the place for different opportunities. I've tried affiliate marketing, meme pages. I've tried drop shipping. I've tried social media marketing agencies. Um, I tried a lot of things online, and the best one that helped me was high ticket sales. Right. Um, this one checked all three of the boxes for me, and the best thing is that it's it's definitely beginner friendly, I would say. you know you don't have any overhead costs. You're not running any business like drop shipping, or you're not running any ads for marketing before you can make a sale. um, you know you have the time freedom because you're working on your schedule. You have the luxury of location freedom because it's all online. And also, you have a lot more control over your income, over your money, because in high ticket sales, it's really performance based. It's really, the better you are, the more money you can make. So your earning potential, it's not capped like the regular salary. And in a nutshell, if you don't know what high ticket sales is, I do recommend you just go Google, go YouTube, go find out more about it for yourself. Okay, don't take my word for it, but go ahead and do your own research. But in a nutshell, you're basically just acting as a representative of a company that has buyers that are already interested to buy. All you have to do is just be that person there to connect with them, give them value, and then once the sale is made, you get a commission check off of that sale. But the beautiful thing about it is that in this industry, right? In the whole umbrella of what we call high ticket sales, there are different niches of, different industries. So I recommend that you just choose whatever that you're either passionate about, you're either very knowledgeable about, you're really skilled at, you're really good at. You just stick to your guns and stick to your strengths, because that's going to be your biggest advantage, right? Like, for example, I can't speak French, right? So I it doesn't make sense for me to work for a company that's um, you know selling French lessons, French speaking lessons. It doesn't make sense for me to be there because I don't even speak the language. If you speak French like fluently, natively, um, anything like that, just go and do that, because it's so easy for you to, your incongruency and your in alignment with that with that field, right? If you love yoga, if you're really good at doing that, then perfect. Go look for an influencer online that's like a yoga master, a yoga teacher, and then they offer people, yoga lessons, one-to-one private coaching on yoga, and they have like other products, like, you have a special yoga mat. I don't know, just everything yoga. If that's something that you do, it's your passion, it's your hobby, you know a lot about it and things like that. So easy. Just go find a niche that's high ticket sales about yoga. Okay? The key point here is you have that advantage as long as you know what you're good at, what you're passionate in, what you're knowledgeable about. That those are all key indicators of niches that you should go towards. But all I'm saying here is that high ticket sales, that was my ticket. That was my vehicle, that now online, I'm full time online. I don't go to no desk job no more, right? I make way more money than I did all three of those jobs that I was working previously in Japan. And I have that luxury of working anywhere I want to, when I want to. I'm over here at my home, right? And I've been doing this now for a while now, and I believe that if you are looking for something that is going to give you those three things, right? You want financial independence, you want time freedom, you want location freedom, then high ticket sales is definitely a good option to go for. And me personally, I teach Japanese, like long-term Japanese residents and long-term visa holders in Japan, how to build the right system where they can get the same results that I had, which was making 10K online in high ticket sales, but also to maintain those results. Okay. It's not enough to just make that money and get the results, but we have to maintain it and stay there, right? Consistently. You want to be making this money, you want to be living this life, you want to get the freedom, okay, and have that financial independence. And so, if you're interested in that, the pre sale is almost ready. And the early action takers who do jump in early on before the course officially launches, the early action takers, they're going to have lifetime access to all the materials, all the resources, and everything there to really just get you started and get you to the goal faster. If you're interested in that, go ahead and just DM me on Instagram at johndean.vs. It's JohnDean.vs. You can message me on Instagram, and just stay tuned and keep watching and find out more, because once that pre-sale is on, we got to jump on it there, because the price is going to double once everything gets launched officially. But the biggest thing, just start, like, your action step for today is just go to Google, go to YouTube, type in high ticket sales, find out more about this industry, And other than that, just like it's time to really just make some changes. All right. 2026 is really just around the corner up on this point, and you have the opportunity to really make the most out of that year. Like, no more of this bullshit that you've been experiencing every day at your regular job. It's time to really take that next step. All right. I'll see you guys later.